So, as many of you may have heard or not heard by now, that Corey Graves has apologized. We sort of expected this, sort of wondered about this, and whatever else. Wow, my microphone's broken. But anyway, yeah, so he apologizes, and, well, let's just listen to it.
Something. This past Saturday, during the TakeOver War Games event, I sent out a tweet. It was an unpopular opinion, as I often do, with the intention of just stirring up a little controversy, maybe have something fun to talk about on TV or here on the show. It was maybe not the most professional way to go about things, and it was never meant to offend or disrespect or disparage anybody. That was never my intention. If it was taken as such, I apologize deeply. That was not my intention. I would never intentionally cause anybody any undue stress, especially a coworker. So I apologize.
So that's basically it. So that's kind of what we I mentioned this. Although I was pretty critical of Corey Graves, I did mention this, that there's entirely possible that he's playing the game, as we all do, as I do all the time on Twitter and on videos. You know, calling Seth Rollins the other day what did I call him, a scumbag and all kinds of stuff, and then he saw it and said, you called me a scumbag. And it's like, well, dude, I don't really think you're a piece of garbage or something in real life. I'm just kind of messing around here, and it's a little bit of a cutie, video. I mean what I'm saying, but I'm also not, it's not 100% all the way it seems. Same thing on Twitter. You bust people's balls. You do that kind of stuff. So with Corey Graves apologizing, the only thing left here that's a discrepancy is the fact that he did it to Mauro Ranallo. So I guess that this means Corey Graves didn't believe. He believed so much that this was such a just innocent thing that this wouldn't bother Mauro Ranallo's bipolar and all these other things, right? So I'm assuming that's my only question that I have left for Graves. I think Corey did a good job apologizing and sort of trying to set that up. But I think the one thing that's missing here is, that explanation of, I thought I could joke with him, you know what I mean? And I know that some people are critical on Mauro now, too, where they're like, oh, grow up and grow up some balls, put a helmet on. And I agree normally with that statement, but again, I don't know if I can agree with it on Mauro, because we know he's so fragile with his issues, you know what I mean, that maybe he's not the guy to play around on Twitter with, you know what I mean? I've had Bubba Ray Dudley threaten to kick my ass and then said, don't ever fuck with me on Twitter. I'm not the guy to do that with. Well, I think that in the opposite way, Mauro's not the guy to do it with, because he's so defensive and, has this mental illness. And for him not to show up tonight on NXT, and I said it last night on my gaming stream. I said, people say like, oh, why is Mauro acting like a bitch and all this stuff just because he tweets something? Corey just tweets something little, it's goofy. And it's like, dude, but do you need any more proof that the guy is mentally ill and has a depression and bipolar issue? He is the number one announcer. Some people think he's the best announcer in the world. He's the number one announcer for NXT, a brand that's on USA Network, getting sometimes almost 1 million views on television. He is the number one broadcaster, the voice of NXT, getting paid money by the WWE, and he's not showing up on Wednesday because of a tweet from a bald guy who looks like a horse who's been run over by a truck. He's not going to be there because of that. Now, if you need any more proof that Mauro Ranallo has got some kind of major mental issue, I don't know what other proof there is. We all know how long so many people have been working to become announcers and commentary and the head voice and the lead voice and the voice of NXT or the voice of WWE. How long have I worked at it? Can you imagine Joe Cronin not showing up because maybe somebody in the company tweeted that I need to be quiet more often? Dude, that would just make me louder. I'd show up be even louder. and then I would take a shot at them on the WWE programming, and then on Twitter, and then someday down the road maybe it develops into something, but at least it kind of forwards this whole brand fight that's going on between NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. Hey guys, let's keep it in-house. Let's fight with each other. Let's have Raw be arguing with SmackDown, be arguing with NXT. Let's have our own competition. Let's stop fighting with Kenny Omega and AEW and those guys. Let's fight in-house and steer our fans towards each other's brands instead of other brands. It's genius. But don't do it with Mauro. Because that, obviously, this is the last example you should ever have now that you just can't play around with Mauro. He just does not, he has an issue. And this is the proof, because nobody else would be the lead announcer of NXT, be on commentary, and then a little tweet from Corey Graves about, hey, maybe let the other people talk, would make you stay home from the WWE Survivor Series, from NXT. You can't be mad at Mauro, but you can now believe he has a mental illness. He absolutely does. Nobody who didn't would do this. You would have to be mentally ill to stay home from your lead commentator position in the top of the world's industry of wrestling, getting paid what Mauro gets paid, being on television in front of everybody, being the lead and the voice of NXT. You decided to stay home because a guy made a tweet that maybe you need to be quiet a little bit more for the other people to talk? That's what made you just go, I'm staying home? In my opinion, unless there's a major issue backstage we are unaware of, that is the definition of mental illness. I mean, I got more grief from a mother of 4 in my old office building when I would be too loud while making tea during break time before I went back to my call center job 5 years ago. And I didn't go, you know what, I'm going home. But if I did, there'd be something wrong probably. Well, there's something wrong here. And the only thing that I have left to ask Corey is, how did you not know? Don't you know this guy's issues? Or maybe Corey just thought, I'm playing with him on Twitter. What JBL and Vince did was behind the scenes and probably really horrible. But I'm not doing that. I was playing the game on Twitter. Now, Sith Negan, before I close this out, had an interesting take the other day. And by the way, so Corey Graves did apologize. Did he come off sincere to you? I think he's shocked. But then again, I'm shocked that he did this. But then again, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about I don't know. Vince McMahon is behind this. People believe Vince McMahon is behind this. That both Nigel and Beth Phoenix need to make public statements, as well as say if they agree with Corey Graves' Twitter comments or not. So now you're being put in the position, Nigel McGuinness and Beth Phoenix, to either back up Mauro Ranallo or back off and take the company's side. I don't know what's going to happen. But the one thing that I do know is I am extremely fucking pissed off that I do not get Mauro Ranallo on commentary for NXT Wednesday. And I've had it just about enough of the shitty commentating in WWE. I've had just about enough of these horrible backstage bimbos who can't do the job the right way. We used to have Mean Gene Okerlund. We used to have Bobby the Brain Heenan. I know he was a manager and an announcer and whatever. But we used to have characters who touched us, not sexually, but touched our hearts. And massaged our privates. And now we have these just robotic, stupid idiots. And one of the only people that has any brains in the company or any soul or any character is Mauro Ranallo. Now, I know that he doesn't work well with co-announcers to play along, like in joking fashions and the way Vince likes, but his voice is good. His excitement is there. Nobody else's is. Nobody else's is. Mauro Ranallo is the best announcer in all of WWE. And Nigel McGuinness is the second best announcer in all of WWE. And I would argue that Beth Phoenix is the best female announcer the company has ever had, and she's just getting better. I didn't like her at first 100%. She's been getting better and better and better and better. Daniel Bryan did a good job at color at some point with Mauro Ranallo too, by the way, going back to that. Everybody else is garbage. Corey Graves was pretty damn good in NXT, but we always were waiting for him to swing full heel asshole or full whatever, and he's just sort of a tweener. So while I like Corey Graves in many ways, unfortunately, everybody else on the main roster is terrible. And I don't know if that is because of the way they're produced or the way they're made to act, but they're terrible. And now we're not going to get more Ranallo on NXT. Well, guess what? I'm watching AEW. I refuse to watch NXT this week. I don't care who the announcer is. I don't even care. I am bitter, sick, and angry at this company. These guys hired so many robots, and I will bring it up a million times over again until people are sick to their stomach that this company hired Vic Joseph over me. Vic Joseph is a robotic, boring sack of nothing. Mauro Ranallo is entertaining. And now he's at home. So I'll be watching NXT. I'll be watching AEW exclusively this Wednesday, and I am not even going to watch NXT. That's how I feel. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it's Corey Graves' fault anymore 100%. I'm not saying it's Mauro's fault. It's just an unfortunate situation. And at this point, the fact that, this company, it's just going to be terrible. Whatever. The ratings continue to die. Survivor Series, one of the lowest ratings ever after a pay-per-view. Unbelievable Survivor Series. Monday Night Raw was trash. They should have done what I said they should have done, which is turn Rollins definitively on Survivor Series and had him cut crazy promo stuff, and then tune in Monday what's going to happen. But instead, whatever. Who cares? Let him fail. Here's some other videos you might have missed. We're live tonight on my channel here on the Joe Cronin Show with the AEW review for AEW Dynamite tonight. A little bit of drama over there with Joey Janela apparently too, by the way. Here's some other videos. We'll see you tonight.